Hey guys, so it's time for that July wrap-up. I can't believe it's July 31st and I'm filming this. It's actually my mom's birthday, so I better hurry up and do this fast so that I can get back to her and we can celebrate. July was one of the best reading months that I've had in a while, and I mean, look at this, guys. Look at the stack of books plus 2 ebooks. So I'm pretty thrilled, and it was overall a really good reading month. Even the books that I didn't like, I had strong feelings about, and I think that it's better to have strong feelings about a book even if you didn't like it, rather than just read a book and be like, meh. So that's how I feel about that. I read 9 books in July. 9 books, and 4 of them were for my Popsugar challenge, so that makes me really happy. Next Monday for my From the Notebook video, I want to show you guys what I've done with my Popsugar TBR, because I've completely revamped it so that I can challenge myself more to actually finish it, because it's over halfway through the year and I'm only just over halfway through that challenge, so need to get on that. So the first book that I read in July was Rebel of the Sands by Alan Hamilton. And this is also a book for my Popsugar challenge, a book recommended by someone you just met, because as I say in my video review of this book, I read it because the wonderful channel Mercury Calling said that it was the kind of strong female story that she really, really loved and enjoyed, and immediately when I heard that, I had to pick it up. I agree for the most part. I'm definitely glad that I did pick it up. I think that it's a really strong debut, but I have my issues with it, especially what happens to that strong female character, so if you want to know what that is, please do watch my video review of that. Second book that I read in July was Nimona, the graphic novel by Noelle Stevenson. And I picked this up when Taylor and I were in Ohio because there were so many great panels on this book that I decided that it was time to give into the hype and read it, and I will say that I am really glad that I did. I'm not a huge graphic novel person, but I'm really glad that I bought this and that I read it, because I have my issues with it, but it's a good story, and hopefully I'll be able to tell you guys more about that when Michaela and I get our joint review of this together. I know I've been promising that for a while, and it will happen, I swear. Michaela and I just need to get our lives back together, which is getting harder than expected, so soon, I promise. Speaking of book reviews that aren't done yet, I also read in July Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides. This is the first episode in our second themed set of Bibliomance for Beginners regular season episodes. We've just had to keep pushing that back for particular reasons. I think that we're really going to give it a try for this Monday, but again, I've been saying that. I know, I'm sorry. Things have happened, things have occurred, and it's just the way that life works, and trying to get 4 people together for that is really hard when we're all working and doing school and just trying to live. So I hope that that comes out soon, because while I think I've almost forgotten the book by this point, I did not have great things to say about Middlesex, and I won't. And I know that Casey, Michaela, and Taylor all really liked it, so that is going to be me screaming about how they're all wrong, and that is one of the most boring books that I have ever read. Just putting that out there. Oh, and Middlesex is also a book for my Popsugar challenge. Thank God, there was a reason to read it. A book from Oprah's book club is the one that took care of. So thanks, Michaela. I guess it was her pick. Getting back to books that are beautiful, let's talk about The Star-Touched Queen by Roshani Chokshi. Oh my gosh, guys, I don't know if you've seen my video review of this yet, but I called this one of the most prettiest and yet confusing things that I've read in 2016 so far. It's like poetry, but the kind of poetry where you read it and it's beautiful and you're emotionally affected, but you don't understand the point at the end. And while that's okay for some poetry, it's not okay for a novel, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. Do watch my video review for a more detailed description on that, but hands down, so glad I read this. So pretty. Such pretty writing. so pretty. Just in time for another queen. As you know, Booktubeathon was this month, and so I read 4 books out of the 7 books I was challenged to read for Booktubeathon, and the first one of those that I read was The Heretic Queen by Michelle Moran. This is Egyptian historical fiction and one of my favorite authors in that very particular genre. Michelle Moran does really great stuff, and she has written some other historical fiction that I haven't read, but this one is about Nefertari, the wife of Ramses the Great, and it connects back to her first book, Nefertiti, in beautiful ways, and I just really like these books, guys. They're really good. If that is something that interests you at all, please do read that. Also for Booktubeathon, I also read The Winner's Curse by Marie Rutkowski, and this was a book that I read in one sitting. I'd had it around for a while, but I was really worried about the description on the back of this. It makes it sound like like a Romeo and Juliet kind of star-crossed lovers thing, and I just wasn't into it, but a lot of people had told me that I would like it, and that made me want to read it and both not want to read it. So I challenged myself to read it for Booktubeathon, and like I said, I read it in one sitting. It was not anything like what I had expected. It was so much smarter and smartly minded and not as focused on the romance as I thought it was going to be. So if you have looked into this book and been like, ugh, that's my vote for it, please do watch my video review for more on that, because I get really excited about it. But I already bought the next book. I was gonna get it from the library, and then I saw it in a bookstore first, and I was like, well, I had such great things to say about this book, I want the second one, and now I own it, so maybe that'll be in my August wrap-up. One of the greatest things that Booktubeathon got me through was actually reading Pride and Prejudice. I have been saying for the whole year that I was going to read it. It is my Popsugar challenge pick for a book 100 years older than me or more, and it's also one of my best friend's favorite books, and I was like, I just have to read this finally as an English major, and I haven't, and so I did, and I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to, but I certainly didn't love it. I won't be reviewing that on the blog because it's Pride and Prejudice, and you know, that's been done a million times, and I don't have that many intelligent things to say about it, so, but I did it. I read it, and I completed it, and that is a really good thing for me. My final book for Booktubeathon that I read was Taliban Shuffle by Kim Barker. One of the challenges for Booktubeathon was to read a book and then immediately watch the movie based on it. So the movie based on Taliban Shuffle is Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, starring Tina Fey. This is supposed to be a political memoir written by a war journalist, and while she most certainly is a war journalist, I would not call this a political memoir. In fact, I had such strong feelings about this and the movie that I think my book and movie review of Taliban Shuffle and Whiskey Tango Foxtrot is one of my favorite things that I've done this year. I really get ranty and into it, and I barely had to edit it because I just kept talking and talking and talking. So if you are interested in why I do not think that this so-called political memoir is a political memoir, watch that. And also watch me get angry at the Hollywoodification of females who go after what they want. Very, very angry. However, since this is billed as a political memoir, and this was my pick at the beginning of the year for my Popsugar Challenge political memoir, that's what I'm still counting it as, because I read it and I had strong feelings and I bought the book. So that's what I'm doing with that. The final book that I read in July was Assassin's Heart by Sarah Ayres. I had initially really wanted to read this for my thesis, which, as you know, was based all on assassins, starting with Sarah J. Maas's Assassin, but I didn't, and then I finally saw it in the bookstore in Columbus when Taylor and I were there, and I knew that I needed to pick it up. I knew that I needed to read it because I love assassin novels. I really do. I was just really worried about this one because it's billed as a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing on the bottom. Again, it's not. That's not what happens here. I have my other issues with it, but it's not Romeo and Juliet, like, at all. At all. So, I'll be reviewing this one in full at a later date, so wait for that, but again, if you aren't reading this because you think it's going to be about Romeo and Juliet, don't stay away from it for that reason. There are other reasons that you might want to stay away from it, such as very slow pacing. But other than that, I didn't hate it. I just also think that it would have been very important to put in my thesis if I had gotten it then. I didn't. But stay la vie, I've read it now. Anyways. So that's it, guys. 9 books this month read. So happy about that. 4 for my Popsugar challenge, which puts me just over the halfway point of that 40 book challenge. I've read 59 books, I think, for my Goodreads challenge. I haven't counted that in a while. It might be 52. Either way, I'm doing good in both of those challenges, but I really need to start putting the pedal to the metal and thinking about them smarter. I don't think I have to be smarter about the Goodreads challenge because just reading books, and I've challenged myself to read 100 this year, but whatever. Again, sorry for the consistent struggling to create content. Michaela's been going through a really rough time. I am working 10 to 12 hours a day. Life is a mess right now. I will be moving into the house with Michaela and Taylor in September, so that should hopefully alleviate some issues, but until then, just bear with us. Know that we love you and that we are making as much content as physically possible. So, yeah. Thanks for sticking with us, guys. Bye!